Football. Wildcats. Football. Wildcats. Football. Wildcats. Football. Wildcats. Football. Wildcats. Football. Wildcats. Football.
Welcome to the Married with Picks podcast, season 4, episode 15, week 15. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Jaclyn.
How are you this evening?
Doing excellent. How are you?
I'm
looking forward to week 15.
I'm great.
There are a lot of good games this week. Nobody's on a bye, I don't believe, right?
No bye weeks.
The bye weeks should be finished.
Bye weeks are finished. It's week 15.
Excellent. How did you do last week?
I had a great week last week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. I was one game over 500. I think it was 7-6.
Really?
Yeah, but
I was on the right side of everything except the Colts. And I did switch my pick in the Texans Jets because the line fell off. Yeah. So that was right, but it was wrong on the podcast. But other than that, I was on the right side of everything. Last week was a good week. It was just one of those weeks where you knew. Like, I knew those Giants were going to win. I knew those Cowboys were going to win. It was just gut. Right?
If you say so.
Well, did you know the Cowboys were going to win?
No. That was
I knew the Cowboys were going to win.
That with my heart.
That
Philly
will get you nowhere. All right, let's move on. We do have a lot of games this week because there's no bye weeks, which you've already said. So we got a lot of games to talk about, and we got to try to get through this quick because Steve has an Xmas party to go to.
Okay.
So we have 3 games on Saturday this week. What?
I don't know why you just went there. Like, nobody cares that I have Christmas party. That we're taping this a little earlier.
We are taping it earlier, so it'll be out earlier. I had to
beg it for 3 weeks because you're that much of a... Never mind.
Well, if it wasn't for the Saturday games, we could have negotiated, but we have a very small window of opportunity. So
yeah. Let's move on.
We're here. First game, Saturday game, 1 o'clock. Vikings at Bengals. Bengals are minus 3-point favorites. So the Josh Dobbs hype is over.
He's out of there.
Nick Mullins is going to start this game. He came in last week and he got the win in the 3-0 game versus the Raiders, which is just hilarious. So we have Nick Mullins versus Jake Browning, who has actually won the last 2 games for the Bengals. I don't know if Browning is good. I figured he had to come back to earth at some point. I thought that was going to be last week. That was my one big miss last week. I like Brian Flores as the DC for the Vikings, though, and I think he can do enough to get to Browning. I don't know if I trust Nick Mullins. I would feel better with Josh Dobbs at the helm. So I lean Vikings, but this is not going to be a play for me. Nick Mullins versus Jake Browning just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, Nick Mullins is just like, if you think about it, I mean, they had to make a move to go get Dobbs. They had more confidence in him than giving Nick Mullins the starting job. And
he was hurt.
There.
He was hurt.
Oh, is he just healthy now?
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't like Nick Mullins. He was horrible for San Francisco. Granted, he's got a couple years more experience, and it takes some time for some of the quarterbacks to really get a sense of what's going on at the NFL level. So there's a possibility that Nick Mullins, could win this game with Minnesota because Minnesota has a decent team. They're getting points. So I can see where Nick Mullins and the Vikings could be attractive here. But Nick Mullins is like so bad in the past that until he does something to prove me or to prove differently, I'm going to go against the guy. Cincinnati looks like they're moving the ball. I like the way the quarterback's playing for Joe Burrow. And the key for me was really, is Jamar Chase going to play? And it looks like he's expecting to suit up. So with, they're questionable. The greatest receiver that ever lived. I think that he might not play. So
who? Justin Jefferson.
So with that, I'm going to play against Nick Mullins here and play with Cincinnati. Okay. -3.
All right. I got no play on this. All right. Next game is the Steelers at the Colts. This is the Saturday 4:00-ish game. So Steelers have 2 losses with Mitch Trubisky at the helm. Looked pretty bad last week. So TJ Watt and linebacker Alex Highsmith left that game with concussions. They have both cleared concussion protocol. I just think Mitch Trubisky is so bad that I think Gardner Minshew can do enough. So I'm going to take the Colts at -1.5. Makes me a little nervous, this line, but.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I just don't like Pittsburgh, so they've not been playing well lately. I'll take Indy.
Okay, same side of that one. All right, and now the Saturday night game is the Broncos at the Lions. Lions are 4.5-point favorites. I really hate these like 4-5 lines because it just feels like no man's land. But the Lions will be back home after their loss outdoors to the Bears. So we have Jared Goff back inside, where he's much better. Broncos have a really bad run defense, so I think the Lions can get it done in the run game. Now, the Broncos have been living off of turnovers for the last few games. It worries me because Goff has been turning the ball over, but I think they can get it done with the ground game. This is also, and is this weird, the Broncos' third road game. They were at Houston, at LA, and now they're at Detroit. Is that typical for a team to have 3 road games?
No, it's possible, but you know, there's some other teams that have like 3 home games that I've noticed on the schedule. I just don't have them right in front of me, but
so that feels like a lot of travel. And interestingly, the Lions are 6-0 against the spread after a loss. So I'm going to take the Lions. I think they get it done here at home. Bounce back. What do you got?
What was the stat that you just gave?
6-0 against the spread after a loss.
Who?
The Lions.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the Broncos. Like, didn't they win last week?
Oh.
Yeah, I like Detroit here. I think from a win the game perspective, there's no doubt that Detroit wins this game. They get back on the horse. I'm a little concerned about the 4 points, but I think it's probably going to be, a 7 to 10 point game. I'm going to take Detroit.
Okay, we're same side of that one. So next game, this is moving into Sunday. Bucks at Packers. Packers are 3.5-point favorites. Now, a lot of injuries in this game. So the Bucks are going to be without Vita Vea, their nose tackle, who's a big run stopper. They will be getting Devin White and Jamal Dean back in their secondary. I heard Chris Godwin was DNP at practice with a knee. I heard on the radio earlier that he is looking like a game time decision. Now, AJ Dillon was DNP at practice with a thumb injury. It sounds like Aaron Jones could be back. They're officially, I believe, both questionable. Jalen Reed was a limited participant with an ankle injury. Dontavion Wicks, it was a limited participant with an ankle. Christian Watson, DNP with a hamstring. It sounds like he is unlikely to play. So the path to victory against the Bucks is through the air. Although you might have some success running with Vita Vea out of the game. I was going to pick the Packers when I thought that Christian Watson was going to play, but he's trending in the opposite direction. So I don't like the Packers without Watson and with these other injuries to their wide receiving core. So I think I'm going to have to take the points with the Bucks here.
Yeah, Tampa Bay went on the road to Atlanta last week, and I don't see them winning back-to-back road games. So I definitely think Green Bay will win this game. I'm a little concerned. Again, this is similar to the last one where it's possible, it's too many points. It's 3.5 in some places. Is that what you're saying?
I saw 3.5, yes.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see if I can get a refresh here. But yeah, with 3, if it's 3.5, I don't know. I have to think a little bit more on this one, but it's tough. Yeah, you would think to take the points, but I don't like to back myself into a corner where I really do feel strongly that Green Bay is going to win the game. So I'll probably give up the points and take Green Bay.
3.5.
Yeah, the line's basically telling you 3.5 to take the Packers. I don't think that it should be that high.
Okay. All right. Different sides of that one. All right. Next game is the Giants at the Saints. The Saints are 5.5-point favorites. The Giants have won their last 3 games. Do you believe that? I don't. They beat the Commanders, the Patriots, and the Packers. Saints got back on track with a big win over the Panthers last week. They had 3 losses before that. So they will be, it looks like, getting Taysom Hill back, who did not play last week, Cam Jordan, Rashid Shaheed. Say that 3 times fast. But it's looking like Olave is trending toward not playing with an ankle injury. I just don't think the Giants are going to win 4 games straight. So as much as I hate to do it, I got to take the Saints here, even at 5.5.
Hey, jingity jing. It's Dominic.
This is my DeVito song.
Jingity jing. The Italian Christmas donkey.
La 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 la. I'll tell you what. I'm tired of hearing about the Giants. I think there's no shot that he wins again.
Okay.
And I can't wait to play him when he comes to town in Philadelphia on Christmas. I'm going anti-Giants.
Okay. Same side of that one. And you don't mind taking the Saints at 5.5.
I don't. And Alvin Kamara is going to have a field day.
Okay. All right. Next game is the Falcons at the Panthers. Falcons are 3-point favorites. Now, there is some weather in some of these East Coast games again. And apparently, of course, what they're saying, but they said this last week, this is high winds and rain. So they're making it sound like it's going to be pretty bad. They did that last week, and I don't think it played out. So you got to watch the weather. It's only Friday. See what the weather actually pans out to be. But the Panthers have a pretty bad run defense. Falcons obviously want to run the ball. Bad weather. The Panthers are 1-12 on the season. So I think you got to take the Falcons -3.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't look really good last week against Tampa Bay. There's a problem, I think with Ritter, the quarterback. I'm not, it's tough to take Carolina, especially when they fired their coach and Bryce Young doesn't look that great. But Chuba Hubbard, hopefully, I think Chuba will step up and have a game against Atlanta, help Bryce Young kind of get some more throwing lanes with his success in running. Hopefully that pans into some play action. And, Atlanta's that team.
So you think Bryce Young's going to chuck the ball in bad weather? 30-mile-an-hour winds?
They're going to run,
He's
right?
going to get it done?
But here's the problem is that, Atlanta doesn't Atlanta scores in the teens. They score 20. You know what I mean? And that's the type of team that Carolina can beat.
And what did the Panthers score? 3?
That's the type of team that Carolina can beat. So, if the game's going to be played low, I like Carolina +3.
Okay. Different sides of that one. Somebody's going to be right. All right. Next game is the Texans at the Titans. Titans are 3-point favorites. Haven't said that much this year. So CJ Stroud is in concussion protocol. I believe he is officially doubtful. So it's sounding like he's not going to play. Davis Mills is the backup quarterback. We remember Davis Mills from last year. He had some serviceable games. He kind of grew as the season went on last year.
He reminds you of like a Gardner Minshew-ish type of guy,
Well, I don't know about that.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah, maybe. So obviously the Texans have a lot of other injuries. No Tank Dell. He's out for the season. Nico Collins, I think, was ruled out earlier today. Noah Brown, who's kind of the long ball guy, is limited with a knee, but I don't think he's going to be effective because he is that deep shot guy. Henry Derrick has had some big games against the Texans in the past. Texans run defense is probably a little better than it was in the past, but with Davis Mills, I mean, Titans had that big win on Monday night. Looked pretty impressive. It's just maybe too little too late for them. But I'm going to go Titans -3.
All right, I like Titans too. I mean, -3 seems like a decent line enough. I don't know if Davis Mills is going to be able to move the offense against Tennessee as well as, his predecessor, CJ Stroud would. So I think that, he's going to be a little bit of rusty. Tennessee gets a little bit of momentum coming off that win, like you said.
Impressive.
Might be a little too late to make the playoffs. I don't know if you talked about like where they stood here, but they're basically in last place in the division at 5-8, but they are 3 games out of first place, and you never know.
I think it's not over yet, but yeah, one more win in the win column would probably be helpful.
They're 4-2 at home, so they win games at home.
And one of those games was in Germany, I believe, or London, whichever it was. But so, yeah. All right. So we're same side of that one. All right. Next game is the Jets at the Dolphins. Dolphins are 9.5-point favorites. These teams played in the Black Friday. Is it Black Friday? The day after Thanksgiving game in week 12.
Black Friday.
It is Black Friday. Okay. That was Tim Boyle at quarterback. He is gone since then. The Dolphins won that game 34-13. Zach Wilson obviously had a big game last week with the win over the Texans. I have to think that was kind of a fluke. Dolphins are suffering from quite a few injuries. We saw Tyreek Hill leave the game with a knee. He is questionable. Their offensive lineman, Teron Armstead, is questionable. They lost their center, Connor Williams. He's out for the season. Devin A-Chain was DNP. I don't even know when or he got hurt. Mostert is questionable. So a lot of injuries going on there for the Dolphins. You can run on the Jets. So I think as long as they have Mostert, they should be okay. He was questionable as well. I was going to this. I mean, can we just say, like, are the Dolphins a fraud or are the Dolphins a fraud? I think they're a fraud.
Well, it seems like they're highly dependent on Tyreek Hill being healthy and successful. That's fair to say.
Well, just in general. I mean, they can't win these big games. Like, they beat up on bad teams, but they can't win against competition. Like, I mean, the Titans, for Christ's sake, they couldn't get it done. I mean, when the Titans gave up that, I forget exactly what happened. The guy fumbled the ball or whatever and gave him a short field. They were down 14 points. I mean, you pretty much thought, like, if for as good of a fight as the Titans put up, they kind of self-inflicted injuries and handed that game to the Dolphins. And yet, somehow, they won. Right? I mean, I think they're a fraud.
I mean, it's just a lot of inconsistencies with the top teams in the leagues, right? You know, so it makes you, we watch some of these games, like you're saying, and you're like, these guys are pretty much calling them a fraud.
I mean, you can
they're
look
not
at
a Super Bowl contender in your mind, and it's weird because they're probably top 3 right now. I mean, none of these guys really like give you a great feeling that they're, maybe the 49ers because they've had the most success lately. They're the only one that seems like they've been consistent over the last couple of games, but that's after the last 4 or 5 games, somebody gets hurt, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so, okay. If the Dolphins don't have Tyreek Hill, I don't like the Dolphins in this game. But I think if they have Hill, they have Mostert, they can probably get it done here. I can't give too much credit to what happened last week with the Jets. Was
Aaron Rodgers possibly playing in this game? Like, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. So. I just read an article that said you can't even tell he was hurt. He's coming back.
I don't know. There's like conspiracy theorists.
Unless they make a decision to just like rest him so he doesn't get hurt. I bet you he comes back next week.
Whatever. I mean, their odds of making the playoffs are pretty slim.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're 5-8 as well. So, I mean, they're pretty much in the same boat. There's this wild cards. I mean, if you look at the playoffs, the playoff picture, the wild card is the 7 seed is 7-6. So it's only 2 games back.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks here because we said 15, 16, 17, and 18, right? So you got 4 games left. Somebody gets hot and wins 4 games.
Yeah, well, these teams they're going to need help, though. They're going to need the other teams to lose.
Well, I guess that's
they don't
the question,
control
right?
their own destiny.
They win 4, that gives them 9. Does 9 get them in the playoffs? Well, right now it's 7 with 4 to play.
Yeah, so they need help. 7
wins for the 6-team Steelers and the 7-team Colts. So let's take the Colts out of it for a second. The Steelers aren't going to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? They're going on a downward trend. You would think they wouldn't make the playoffs. They got 4 games left. What do they win? 1? So they finish 8 wins. So you need 9 wins to get in. They're going to have to win out if you get 5 wins, I would say.
All right, so are they going to win this game?
I like Miami.
You like Miami minus 9.5?
Yeah, I think I know it's a division game, but I don't think they have a good enough defense that if Zach Wilson's the quarterback, he's going to struggle against them. So, yeah, I'm going to take Miami.
Now, if Tyreek Hill doesn't play, does that change your opinion?
Yes, it does. If Tyreek Hill doesn't play, I think the Jets can cover.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen enough out of Waddle. I mean, I know he's all world apparently, but you don't see it in the stat sheet.
I have him on our fantasy team, and I know he's not doing what he did last year.
Yeah, so it's a little disappointing. So you got to ask
And plus
yourself,
he leaves every game.
Is that more on Tua? I don't know.
I think Waddle's a little injury prone. I think he's left every single game that I've seen.
Real quick.
When he comes back. But
so what's your 5 second on Tua? Like, you believe
I think
in
he's
Tua,
overrated.
or?
No, I don't believe in Tua at all.
Yeah, I don't believe in him at all either.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Next game is the Bears at the Browns. Browns are 3-point favorites. So Joe Flacco got his first win last week against the Jaguars. He looked good, and he looks like he's having fun. And maybe that's the difference, because I can remember like when we saw Joe Flacco before, him just looking disinterested on the sidelines. He actually looks like he's enjoying himself, like he's having fun. Like this maybe is his last hurrah, and good for Joe Flacco. So the Bears defense has been playing a lot better of late. I'm kind of surprised that everyone is on the Bears. I wanted to see the Browns defense versus Justin Fields. And I tried to look to see, like, does the Browns defense struggle against a mobile quarterback? But I didn't see the mobile quarterback that they played this year. So I don't know. That would be one concern for me. But I am surprised that everybody's loving the Bears this much. I'm on the Browns here. I'm
on the Browns too. I mean, how can you not like their defense? Their defense has through the whole season has kept them together. I mean, they're the 5th seed at 8-5, tied with Kansas City and Jacksonville, the same record. How can you not like these guys? And to your point, Joe Flacco looks nice and loose, and he's a fellow University of Delaware alumni. I'm getting behind Joe Flacco. Absolutely. I'm tired of, he does look like a different quarterback. He looked like he was done when he was playing for the Jets. He played for the Eagles a little bit. Just maybe he was a little disappointed that, because he grew up, 15 minutes from Philadelphia in New Jersey. So maybe he's a little disappointed that he wasn't going to ride the show out, but somebody's motivated Flacco.
I don't know. I think he was sitting on his couch thinking, what am I going to do with the rest of my life now that I don't have football? And then he got an opportunity. Of the Jersey
Shore. He's getting tired of the Jersey Shore, and too much Shore could be bad for you. So I get it. He looks healthy. He looks like he's having fun. I'm taking Cleveland, and let's go Browns. Let's go Joey.
All right. Next game is the Chiefs at the Patriots. Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites. So this one's tough for me. We saw Bailey Zappi come in for the Patriots last week, gave them a little bit of life. They got the win over Pittsburgh. Patriots played Thursday, so they've had extra time to prepare. Chiefs this year are not the Chiefs of old. Patriots have a good run defense. The Chiefs are going to be without Pacheco. He was ruled out earlier today. Belichick's thing has always been to take away the other team's best player. I guess we have to say that that's Travis Kelce, although he's not exactly having high-flying season this year either. But I could see Belichick making Patrick Mahomes do it with his other receivers, which we saw how that played out last week. So, I mean, as hard as it is for me to say this, I've got to take the points and go with the Patriots.
Yeah, not me. I mean, the reports are out there that Belichick's already been told that he's going to be fired at the end of the season. If that's true and the players believe that.
Where does Belichick go? Any thoughts? Any ideas?
Chargers have an opening.
I know. Isn't that just...
He could get fired after this game and then get hired by them.
I need another quarterback to carry me for the next 20 years. Justin Herbert, what are you up to?
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't like New England a little bit. The disciplinarian that he is, and if the players realize that he has that he's a lame duck, that he's going at the end of the season, I worry about this being like a fall down on your face type of game for New England, really. And they've had a fall down on your face type of season for Belichick. So
no, but I could see this totally the opposite. Like reports are out that Belichick is going to lose his job at the end of the season. Here come the freaking Chiefs. It's such a Belichick thing to beat the Chiefs. And I don't even need him to beat him.
It's also an Andy Reid thing to lift his foot up and step it right on Belichick's throat.
Well, if he had the horses to do it, maybe, but does he? I mean, come on.
I believe he does. Clyde Edward Hilaire, and I think
Kadarius Toney, maybe.
I mean. You got McKinney coming out of the backfield as a good pass catching receiver, and Kelce.
Yeah, but Belichick's going to take Kelsey out of it. Kelsey's not. I don't know what's up with Kelsey. Kelsey's done. This is like
Kelsey's in love.
Kelsey's like done.
They always tell you not to.
It's like Gronk, you know?
You don't settle down. Like he's all in love and he's thinking about it. They always zap the energy out of you in sports. He's settling down with too serious of a woman right now. I don't
believe that one bit. I think it's all a big publicity stunt, but that's a whole other
Jason Kelsey is a
story.
Travis Kelsey is a wealthy man. He has pennies compared to Taylor Swift. Yeah. Believe me, he's looking at cash cow and thinking about other things.
Okay. All right. So you're on the Chiefs here.
I am on the Chiefs, though.
All right. I'm taking the points for the Patriots. It doesn't feel good. All right. Next game is the Commanders at the Rams. Rams are 6.5-point favorites. Rams have been firing on
Real quick, before we go over to this one, did you see the emotion? Like, regardless of like last game, what happened with the quarterback Mahomes?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I thought that was pretty shitty, like the Josh Allen thing. But
yeah.
Forget about fuck you, dude.
Forget about like how you act, what you think. The bottom line is he's shown emotion for like the first time. Like how's he going to react?
Well,
I'm not saying right or wrong. I don't I'm really anti-Mahomes in this situation. But the point is that they got a wake-up call. They had been struggling, and I feel like regardless of what the truth may be, in their heads, they got wronged, and we'll see if he responds and they look like a much better team against New England.
See, here's my take on the situation. This is the first time in his career that it hasn't been easy. So now he's facing adversity, and that's what happened. So that is not a good thing, in my opinion.
Well, we're going to see how the poster boy for the NFL responds.
Okay.
I think it's the perfect spot.
Okay. Good.
We are so far. Like we're both analyzing the situation. I think we have the same type of like analysis going on in our heads, and we're so far apart on the other side of this game.
Oh, well, but I love. Bet. No, come on! You're gonna make me take the Patriots.
This has to be. Like, I feel like we're complete opposite sides. So the winner, the one who's right, should be Justin.
What?
Earn $20 out of it.
All right, fine. 8.5.
Whoa.
What?
Look, I see 7.5.
Well, I got 8. Oh, I see 8.5, 8.5.
All right, let's go in the middle. 8.
I mean, do you think 8 and 8.5 is going to make a difference? But I mean, let's not push. We got to have the hook on there.
Then 7.5.
No.
Then
8.5.
8.5.
8. And a half.
Come on, you're going up. You're taking the high side.
You already shook my hand and I said 8.5. So it's a bet.
All right, 8.5.
Good. All right, Commanders at Rams. Rams 6.5-point favorites. Rams have been firing on all cylinders of late. Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp looks good last week. They got Kyron Williams, keeps reminding me of the Todd Gurley offense. So we got the Commanders coming off the bye and traveling west. We've seen the Commanders keep up in some of these games with bad defenses. I don't think the Rams defense is that great. So I could see a bit of a back and a forth, but I think the Rams can get it done. I'm taking the Rams, 6.5.
2 weeks to prepare. I'm taking Washington. I think they get out of their slumber. I like the points.
Well, they're already talking like whatchamacallit's already. He's done too at the end of the year.
Yeah, Rivera?
Yeah.
I'll take Washington.
Okay, 6.5.
I'll take the points, baby. All right, next.
Did you want to bet it?
No.
Oh, okay. Not feeling so confident in those Commanders.
I pulled it out and took it back.
Okay. All right, fine. That's probably better for me.
At the end of the day, it's Washington.
All right. 49ers at Cardinals. 49ers are 12.5-point favorites. These teams played back in week 4. That was a big CMC game. They won 35-16. San Francisco won both matchups last year, 38-13, 38-10. So, I mean, I guess the 49ers are the only team that's clinched a playoff spot, apparently. That has me worried a little bit that maybe they take their foot off the gas, but I gotta go with the 49ers here. Right?
No? Yes, San Fran, but they're not taking their foot off the gas. They're trying to get the number 1 seed. They don't want to go to Philly. Believe me, they don't want to go back to Philly. They're trying to get the number 1 seed. They're going to try hard to win this game. And
okay, but you can win the game, and then you can not win the game by 12.5 points, and that's where my concern would be.
I got like a 30-point win here for San Fran.
Well, that's what it's been. So, I'm with you. I got the 49ers, 12.5.
The longer that guy Gannon is the coach of the Cardinals, it's just a matter of time before the players snap and, they're like, who is
you
this guy?
can talk all the shit you want on Gannon, but look what happened to your defense after Gannon left.
Yeah, well, our coordinators suck.
Your coach is feeling a little bit of heat too. He's in a Patrick Mahomes situation now.
How does this turn to the Eagles?
Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but we'll get there. Let's keep going here. Okay, Cowboys, Bills. Bills are 1.5-point favorites. So the Cowboys had a big win last week over the Eagles. Now they're going to go on the road to cold Buffalo. Buffalo still needs the win to stay in the playoff race. So I'm going to take the Bills.
I'm all over the Bills. This is my favorite play of the day. Load up on the Bills. That's all I'm going to say. The Bills are trending in the right position. They need to win every single game the rest of the way. I love them for the last 2 weeks. I loved them last week. I love them this week. Take the Buffalo Bills. Dallas is going to have a big letdown after beating the Eagles.
Okay, same side of that one. All right, Ravens at Jaguars. This is the Sunday night game. Ravens are 3-point favorites. I have no science for this. Jaguars cannot run the ball of late, so I think that's a problem for them going into this game. I'm going to take the Ravens.
I'm taking Jacksonville. It's a home game. It's a backup
are.
night game. This is their second night game that they've had, so they're good. They're a little more accustomed to it instead of like the big, jitters that they had. The prior game. I think that Baltimore struggles, particularly Lamar Jackson struggles with good defenses. I think Jacksonville's played some decent defense this year. So they can run around with him. They have some speed on the defense as well. Trevor Lawrence last week was a little nipped up with his knee. I think he's going to bounce back a little bit better. Or his ankle, yeah. He's going to bounce back better this week because he's healing up. So I'm taking Jacksonville.
You just love all your former Eagle people.
Doug Peterson.
That Super Bowl run really got to
Peterson.
you. Didn't it? All right.
Listen, watch out for Jacksonville. I think they're a strong contender
I just think
year.
Trevor Lawrence is so overrated.
Yeah.
So
here's the problem with Jacksonville, right? I'll tell you right now.
They also don't have Christian Kirk.
It's Jones. It doesn't matter. He's got to get back and healthy. They
got Calvin Ridley. Ooh.
No, it's
How's
Jones.
that working out for you?
I'm telling you, it's Jones. They just got to get him back healthy, and then that's his favorite target. And watch the magic. I'm telling you. I think
Zay Jones is a difference maker.
I'm telling you, watch. He
Last
has a connection with Zay Jones, and he's been hurt all year. In the beginning of the season, he went at him like 3 times in the end zone, and it was just like Zay was just coming back, and he's like kind of like tippy tapped on the end line and the sideline on 3 of these touchdown passes and didn't get it in. He's Trevor Lawrence's number 1 threat, but he's not been healthy. So let's see. Okay. Hopefully he plays this week. It doesn't matter if Kirk's not playing if he's there. I like Jacksonville.
All right. Yeah. All right. So final game of the week is the Eagles at the Seahawks. Eagles are 3-point favorites. Eagles have actually lost the last 2 weeks. Believe it or not. Now they're going to travel to Seattle. There could be some weather in this game. Rain. Obviously, it's Seattle. It sounds like Geno Smith will be back. I think the Eagles do win this game. I can't see them losing 3 weeks in a row. But it is the Monday night game. These Monday night games, I don't know what it is, but something. They always go the opposite way. So keep an eye on where the money goes. I could see it being a bit of a shootout. With it only being 3, I would still have to side on the Eagles. But if it gets any higher than that, I would probably look to take Seattle.
I'm kind of surprised you're not taking Seattle.
Well, it's the 3. If it was a little bit higher, I probably would.
I think Seattle wins outright.
You really think the Eagles are going to lose 3 in a row?
It doesn't matter. It's 1 game at a time. Yeah, I do. Because this was the scariest game for me. Like just before, I thought they had a shot at beating San Fran and Dallas. I don't think they have any shot Monday night going across the country. I know, it's not necessarily a
maybe your coach needs to take
a
page out of Kyle Shanahan's book and get DK Metcalf ejected.
Yeah, that would help. But I think the key to me is Seattle's quarterback, Geno Smith. He's been playing with some injuries, and if he's healthy and 100%, I don't think Philly has any chance to beat him. But it's the path to.
Oh, you're not going to reverse psychology me out of my Eagles pick on this one.
The path to Philly winning has to be through their defense. They're going to have to stop Geno Smith, and I don't see them stopping anything right now. I mean, they've given up, I think, points on the last 12 or 15 drives consecutively. They didn't stop the Cowboys at all. So, it's hard for me to. I know. Listen, they played on short. They played teams with San Fran and Dallas having 11 days rest, which everybody knows when you're at 11-day rest, you play on a Thursday, high percentage chance you're going to win when you come back on the field and get that extra rest. And the Eagles had to do that twice in a row. I think that they're still decent and they got to change some things, but I don't think it's going to happen this week. I just feel like Seattle's going to win the game, and then Philly will start to get their act together.
Boy, Sirianni's really going to have some questions to answer if they
it's
lose
gonna get
this
crazy.
week.
It's going to get crazy, but I really do think they're going to lose 3 in a row. So I like the Birds. I mean, I like the other birds, the
Which
Seahawks.
bird?
The Hawks.
All right. Different sides of that one, I guess. All right. So that's going to do it for us for week 15. If you're watching, remember to like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. Hoping for another strong week, but we shall see. We'll be back here week 16. Peace
Peace out.
out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.